Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. This is the companion podcast to our main Beyond the Slipstream feed. This is like the little women-sized Paris-Roubaix cobblestone next to the great big men's Paris-Roubaix cobblestone, etc. Yeah, this is where we get to talk about stuff that came up during the week that we didn't talk about on the main show. So cycling wise. Couple of things to talk about. First of all, we had a small stage race in France called the Région Pays de la Loire. And I just wanted to mention that our buddy Sam Bennett, the Irishman, what's his name? Ben Healy wasn't the only Irishman winning stages this week because Sam Bennett took out not one but two. Stages 1 and 3 in the Région Pays de la Loire, and also another GC win from Kevin Vauquelin. So very positive thing for Arkea.
Rider, bro.
Yeah. That guy's good. Like he's gonna be. We're gonna be hearing that name a lot.
Do you feel like somebody comes and scoops him up at some point? Like I just don't see him.
Very possible.
I just don't see this guy staying on Arkea forever. I don't know. I look at him as like I mean, obviously he's not as strong as Zhao is, but man, I get that same like sense that this guy is probably is destined for bigger, better team.
So I believe that when you look someone up on PCS, if they have like a contract that extends into the future, like those years will be listed like in advance because they show all the teams that they've been on throughout their career. So I just pulled up Kevin Vauquelin, like 18 and 19 he was on UC Tilly, whatever that is, and then on 2020 he was on VC Rouen, which was a club team. 2020 he also started training for Team Arkea, and then it looks like in 2022 he became part of the Team Arkea Samsic proper. Now it's Arkea B&B Hotels, but 2025 is the last year listed, so that makes me think that he's out of contract at the end of this year. So I would imagine, unless they make a good offer for that guy, that he will go bye.
Well, I could just totally see one of the French teams coming and scooping him up, like. Especially one of these bigger budget teams, like Soudal or FDJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I could just definitely see a big French team coming in and just scooping this guy up because he's got a lot of upswing, man. That guy is.
He's won stages. He's won stages in the Tour de Alpes Maritime. He's won 3 stages in Etoile de Bessèges, which is the GC win that he got earlier this year. Yes. He came second in Flèche Wallonne, and he's won a stage of the Tour de France last year. So this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, look, keep him on your radar. Then midweek we had a men's and women's lesser spring classic, the Scheldre Prijs. In the women's race, you got a win from Elisa Balsamo. Did you see this race?
I did not see either of these.
Yeah, Scheldre Prijs is a sprinty race, and I really feel like Elisa Balsamo wins every sprint that Lorena Wiebes is not in. Like she is just like she to me is like the clear second to Wiebes's, top sprinter going right now. So it's a very clear delineation, because she just can't seem to beat Lorena Wiebes like ever.
Well, I don't think anybody's beating Lorena Wiebes right now. I mean, she is so strong; it's not even funny.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Balsamo wasn't really a factor at all in Paris-Roubaix yesterday. She was in the mix like early on, and she sort of made the last like big group, but when push came to shove, she dropped off. And then on the men's side in Scheldre Prijs,
seems like
Tim
a real shocking win by looking at your notes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Tim Merlier is basically the Lorena Wiebes of the men's side right now.
Also in the
just
European Champions jersey, by the way.
also in the European Champions jersey. Exactly. Like that guy just, bosses it every single time. I mean, that win, he just was, was kind of six riders back and made his move and just pushed through and nobody could come close. So yeah,
Shocking.
similar. So yeah, two sprint races, not super exciting, whatever. So, and I know there was some other racing.
What is the Roman Bardet thing that you got?
I'm going to tell you about that right now, and then we'll get into my other one. So, I follow Roman Bardet on Strava, which is the app that everybody in the world uses for tracking their cycling, and many pros use Strava as well. And what's cool about it is Strava has this feature called segments, and a segment is just like a piece of roadway or a route, some amount of roadway, be it a tenth of a mile up to 20 miles or whatever, but it has been designated a segment in Strava, and therefore anytime someone who is running Strava while they're out on their bike ride, that anytime someone passes through the start and rides it through the finish, their result gets recorded on Strava, and the app keeps a top 10 for every single segment that's on Strava. Well, all of the most iconic climbs in the world, everything from the Alpe d'Huez to the Haut de Quermont, the every one of those is a segment on Strava, and most of the iconic ones like that, the KOM as it's called, the leader, the fastest ever time, is held by a professional rider that we've probably heard of,
Right.
etc. So Strava is really cool in that regard if you like to look up those kind of things and see those kind of names and stuff like that. And if you get on my Strava and look around the local area, you might find top 10 and in fact my name on the KOM of certain segments in my local area. And there's one where I am currently second, and I have every intention of getting my name, of shaving the 1 second off of that little piece that I need to shave off of to get back into the top spot. But nonetheless, I like to follow folks on Strava. I follow Allison Jackson, and I also follow Roman Bardet. And so, as you know, Bardet is at the end of his career. This is his final season, and I think, what did they say his last race was going to be? They were commenting on that in one of the races recently, that his last race is maybe the Tour de France this year.
I think it is the Tour de France. That's
It's something like
for some
that.
reason that's ringing in my head.
Yeah, he's not going to the end of the season or something like that this year. Anyways, he just posted a post from Tenerife, which is the little island off the coast of Africa where lots and lots of pros, and including Team Ineos, have their training camps, which I wanted to mention. We definitely need to do a segment about like pro training camps. Like I want to get down the rabbit hole on like what's going on Tenerife. Like what is that whole scene there like with the pros and during the off season and stuff like that. I would also like to dig in at some point into like the service courses, like that crazy Jumbo Visma service course that they have in Antwerp or wherever the hell it is, like just totally insane. So note to self for future topics. So Bardet is apparently on Tenerife, and I'm going to guess that this is the last time that he's going to a training camp on Tenerife, because he climbed, he did some climb called Mosca on Tenerife, and it's like, I looked at the map, it's like right in the middle of the island, it's the highest point on the island. So I'm sure like Mosca is like the big Tenerife climb that all the pros practice on, and it looks pretty freaking nasty, this climb. And Bardet put up, I don't know if he put up the KOM on it. I think he may have put up the second or third fastest time on that thing. But his description on Strava of his ride that day, it said, "Gonna miss this sweet little motherfucker." I'm like, hell yeah, Roman. Thank you for number one going with the English, because sometimes you look at his posts and they're in French and you have no idea what he's saying. I'm like, thanks for going for English and thanks for driving. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. That is very, very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting how you can track certain riders and like what they're up to by like watching watching what their posts are on Strava, and seeing where they are, and they're like, some of the pros like post every single time they go out, including race. So like a lot of times you're able to look at all of the performance data from certain pros like almost immediately after the race. As soon as they post it on Strava, you're able to see like all of their data, which is really, really cool. So that was cool. Anyways, so all that aside, I did want to get into some non-cycling related stuff if you are game.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a non cycling related topic.
What do you got?
So, as we were discussing in between segments, I am a big TV fan, and one of my wife and I's favorite shows from I think it was about like a year and a half or 2 years ago comes back out tonight. It's the Last of Us. This is HBO's TV show that's based on a very, very highly lauded video game called The Last of Us, and there was a sequel to it. And HBO, optioned the property and built a show around it. It starts Pedro Pascal.
Let me stop you for a sec.
Sure.
I got a question. I get because I'm very aware of this show. Does this thing start off with like a guy like dying on stage in the middle of like a stage play, like a dude goes to see this play and then like he befriends like a young. What is that?
That's Station 11. It's also
Station
really,
11.
really
Okay.
good. Station
Yeah, okay.
11. That is like that show's so good that I'd almost like be like we should do a topic on that one and talk about it because it's very good. It's very similar in the way they're both like post-apocalyptic themed shows. But
Yeah, save it. Let's save it for the off season. But I would commit to like watching because that's just a limited series, right? There's no like multiple seasons and
one
shit.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I've already watched 2 episodes of that. So I'd be game for finishing that out.
No, the Last of Us is the kind of the base concept is that a fungus called cordyceps ends up infecting humans and essentially taking over their body to make them become like zombies, the world essentially falls apart. It spreads really quickly, and the show is about the survivors. And the first season is about a survivor that is a little girl, and she is seemingly inoculated against the cordyceps, virus or whatever you want to call it, fungus. And so it's Pedro Pascal is tasked with getting her across the country to try to make it so that she can help. So I won't go into it any more than that, but it's really good.
Wait, so am I right in assuming that this is like it's like the Mandalorian, except instead of space, they're on Earth, and it's post-apocalyptic. Instead of him having a mask, we get to see his face. Instead of Baby Yoda, he's got a girl child. What other parallels can we drag into this thing?
Well, since nothing is original in Hollywood anymore, I will say Last of Us existed long before The Mandalorian. So,
Did it?
Then again,
As a video game, yeah.
Yeah. Then again, too, it as has been pointed out to me recently, all Harry Potter is Star Wars with magic wands. So,
right. Instead of lightsabers,
instead of lightsabers. So you can draw your parallels how you will, but it's a really well done show, and it's definitely worth watching, especially considering that there's only a season that you need to catch up on, and I think it's like 7 episodes. It's like super low commitment. In the first season, I will say this: there is like a one-off episode with Nick Offerman, and I can't think of the other guy's name. That like pretty much the whole episode revolves around the two of them. It is one of the sweetest relationships you will ever see two people have. It is
cool. That's drawing me in. I'm liking that.
It is so well done. These two guys that find themselves, at the edge of humanity, and find themselves together, and how one of them who had isolated themselves completely, when all of the world fell apart, watching him let this person into his life and eventually learn to love him, it's just one of one of the best hours of television that I've seen in many years. It's just so beautifully sweet and well done, and it's just there's a lot to like about it. And for people that are fans of HBO shows, you will see a lot of your familiar faces pop up, because HBO does a great job of recycling a lot of these great actors throughout the years. So
Sounds really good, man.
yeah, it really is fun. What else you got?
All right. Well, we'll add both of those things to our or all the things that we mentioned to our list of topic ideas. That one, and what else did we talk about? The service courses and the Tenerife training camps and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I just want to mention a couple of films that I've somehow managed to squeeze in the past week. My movie watching, it's crazy. Like, I peaked in January. I saw 25 films in January. I'll be lucky if I 5 all month. In April, there's just so much cycling going on, which is, and then you're like, oh, you just watched The Last of Us. I mean, it's like 7 episodes max, right? That might take me 6 months to watch 7 episodes. Are you crazy? But I do try to shoehorn in a few films. So I caught up with Becoming Led Zeppelin. Do you know about this movie?
I feel like I heard about it not too long ago, and it definitely was something that I was like, "Ooh, I'd like to watch that."
Yeah, it's the latest in the ongoing line of new footage has been unearthed about some beloved band. So we're going to make a new documentary. Just the latest one and it's for Led Zeppelin, who is a band that's like absolutely foundational rock band for me. I mean, Led Zeppelin, I literally go back to probably, God, I don't even know when. I would have been in first grade, second grade, and I can remember going and visiting our cousin in Romney, West Virginia, Greg Smith, and him having Led Zeppelin 4. I can remember him playing.
I can remember
Zeppelin
those records in the house. Like, I remember those albums clearly in my childhood.
Because I had all of them, and I don't have any of them. So annoying to me. Nor do I have any of my early ticket stubs. Drives me freaking crazy. Anyways,
my whole comic book collection. See ya.
Yeah. So, but this movie, they found some new footage. The new footage is incredible. There's a live version of Dazed and Confused that is like the best one ever. Like, no question about it. And that song is just a masterpiece, as so many of their songs are. This thing basically covers the early life of everybody in the band up to and including the second album, Zeppelin 2. That's the time frame. So you get to see all of the best stuff of them as like children, adolescents, when they started singing, all their early stuff, which is really kind of cool to see all that. And then, their rise to fame and, becoming superstars by their second album. Excuse me. What is so great about this documentary, among other things, the never before seen stuff is great. They also have all 3 of the surviving members as talking heads in this thing, and I think they're the only ones that are talking heads. I don't think there's any other like experts or journalists or anybody that are talking. It's just the 3 of them and their recollections. All 3 of these guys are like sharp as tacks. I mean, they haven't missed a beat. Like, they're just like dialed in and just giving great insights and can really, really remember everything clear as day. And it's a fascinating story, the journey that each of these guys took to come to where they are. I mean, they played in lots of different bands and stuff. Like, one crazy tidbit that I learned. Okay, the song, the theme to the movie Goldfinger by Shirley Bassey. Goldfinger, wah, wah, wah. He's the man. That song. Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones are the guitar and bass on that song.
That's crazy.
Like, It's insane. Like, so there's lots of like crazy little nuggets about like what they were up to, and how they came to into being as musicians, and then how Zeppelin came into being as a band. And then so it's like lots of cool backstory that you didn't know, and then lots of great footage. And then the other really is they've got, unfortunately it's not video, but it's an audio of I think an interview with John Bonham that is never before heard. And they use a lot of that to sort of sub in for like all the as you got Page and Plant and John Paul Jones like sitting there giving talking head interviews.
That's the way they get his voice.
They artfully like weave it into the thing, so it's like seems like he's just as present in this thing as they are. They're sort of showing like clips of him and stuff like that, videos and photos of him when you hear him talking. But at one crucial moment towards the end of this thing, they're playing this long piece of audio from John Bonham, and he's talking about like how grateful he was to have managed to get into this band. And he's talking about like what visionary artists the three other guys in the band are. And as you're hearing it, they're bouncing back and forth from the three band members in modern day listening to what you're listening to. And you get the feeling that maybe they're listening to it for the first time. They're like, okay, we want to get your reaction. Let's listen to this thing that we just found from John Bonham. And the look on their faces, like you can just see like just joy and sadness. And like, it's such a beautiful part of this doc. So
it's just absolute genius. Who's the filmmaker? Who made it?
You're gonna put me on the spot, and I can't think of it right now. But
right. I'm definitely gonna go watch it because that's a really really good concept as far as that is. That's really neat.
Bernard McMahon is the name of the director.
All right. Well, I'm in. Becoming Led Zeppelin.
Becoming Led Zeppelin.
Have you ever?
I watched it on the pirate movie site, so you're gonna have to wait until it comes out on something.
I'll find
but
it.
It'll be out. It'll be out soon enough.
Just speaking of music documentaries with Jimmy Page, have you ever seen It Might Get Loud?
Yeah, I have my thoughts on that whole documentary.
Well, maybe I don't know. This might make for a good winter segment.
Could be.
I definitely enjoyed that movie a ton, and
this whole team bus has been like an on-air production meeting, just like added like segments to our topic ideas spreadsheet. So, yeah, I have my thoughts on that thing.
Well, that is.
They're not all bad. They're not all bad. I am mixed on that, but I'll leave it at that. I do want to make one more quick recommendation. I am a big Soderbergh fan. Love me some Soderbergh. He's definitely one of the most interesting filmmakers in Hollywood over the past I'd say 30 years. I mean, ever since Sex, Lies, and Videotape, this guy's just been doing interesting work nonstop pretty much the entire time. And he put out 2 movies in like 2 months this year already. The first one, Presence, and it's supposed to be a very, very provocative film, like a ghost story, but it's like from the point of view of the ghost. And it's not only the point of view of the ghost, but it's like literally like a POV of the ghost. And of course, Steven Soderbergh did the camera work for the entire movie. Like he's the guy holding the freaking camera. Anyways, he's that kind of guy. Well, he just put out a very conventional like spy movie. Basically, it's just a conventional like 94-minute long spy movie. It's called Black Bag. It's got a great cat. Well, it's got the most of the cast is kind of like second tier, but you got Fassbender and Galadriel, original recipe Galadriel.
Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, Cate Blanchett as the 2 leads, and they're playing like husband and wife. And then you got Pierce Brosnan, like, and also starring Pierce Brosnan. He plays like the head of their department at the British like MI6 or whatever the agency is.
I have seen the trailer for this movie. I do want to see it. Is it? So you're saying it's pretty decent?
It cooks, baby. Like it just gets in and out. Like it's just a fun movie. fun performances, really tight little plot, a couple of great little surprises, and just like, you know, a master filmmaker just cranking these things out easy as can be. So, but it doesn't feel super like Netflixified, I have to say.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like I like that Fassbender, like The Killer, I think it was called last year, where he was like a killer, but that movie felt so fucking Netflix, it was ridiculous.
Where he was like the really like silent assassin guy that just looked like Joe NPC. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that movie, but like it felt like a Netflix movie. This one does not quite feel like a Netflix movie. It's got something else in the mix.
So it's funny that you mentioned Pierce Brosnan, because I was just watching a thing the other day. This is a whole nother topic. I just finished watching. I don't. Have you ever watched Yellowstone? Did you watch Yellowstone? No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like spin-off series from Yellowstone. One of them's like set in 1923. It's got Harrison Ford. Also very good. Just that just finished up. It's a 2-season arc. It's very good. But the ad that comes on after the finale of that show is for this show that has Helen Mirren, Tom Hardy, and Pierce Brosnan.
I've seen this ad.
A family of like mobsters, like British mobsters.
I've seen this ad.
I'm so about to watch this show because it looks so good.
Yeah, I love Tom Hardy too, man.
And I was like, I was like only passively watching it, and I was like, okay, obviously that's Helen Mirren, obviously that's Pierce Brosnan. I'm like, is that fucking Tom Hardy?
Yeah,
like,
that guy can just disappear into a role.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's. I think it's either called like Mobland. I think it's called Mobland.
Mobland, I think that's right. Yeah.
So I'm all in on that show. I'm definitely. It's definitely something that's on my radar.
A couple Tom Hardy comments, real quick.
Yes.
I'm sure you have seen the Cray Brothers movie that he did.
Which one?
Where he plays the two Cray brothers, like Reggie and Ronnie Cray.
Yeah.
Like.
Shit, I can't think of the name of that movie.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
and he is just so different in those two roles. Like, I mean, God, he's so good in that movie. Incredible. And then have you seen, he did a show. It was like a limited series. It came out it was probably like 10 years ago. And it was like sort of like a Victorian England thing where he was like a Victorian England, like hitman, but it had like a supernatural element to it. Fuck, what was that thing called? I wonder if you saw that.
I'm looking it up. I don't know, because it's very positive, dude. I've seen so much stuff.
Mandy and I were like so all in on that series, and I've been thinking about it. Tom Hardy is cropped up. You've seen
he's
seen Bronson, right?
In Inception as well.
Yeah. You see, and you see that movie Bronson. Bronson to me was like the movie that put him on the map.
Are you sure you're not thinking of his? He had like a 1-season run on Peaky Blinders.
No. It was definitely like a limited series.
Was it called Taboo?
Yes. Yeah. You ever see that?
Yeah. No, I have not. In the movie, the Cray Brothers movie is Legend.
Legend. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, oh man, his filmography is just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Have you ever seen that movie Warrior? Where he plays the MMA fighter?
You actually turned me on to that. I watched that movie. You completely you called that movie so perfectly. You said it is Rocky but MMA, and I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, well, we could kind of go on and on to this stuff, but we should probably wrap it up. So unless there's anything else you wanted to shoehorn into this conversation, let's call it a day. Thanks for joining us on the Team Bus, and come back and see us this weekend. We're going to be talking Amstel Gold Race, and we're going to get into our first weed topic. In fact, we're just going to talk about the state of weed in America now that it's kind of been legalized all over the country in many places. The state where I live, and is it legal in your state as well?
It might as well be. It's medically, but it's. Well, I'll get into it when we talk. So.
It's accessible. Yeah. So we're going to be talking weed. We're going to be talking weed next week. So, yeah, thanks a lot. And we'll see you next time. Ale.
The Teen Bus is part of the Beyond the Slipstream family and is produced by Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!